ये शादी नहीं होगी।
पापा।
जब तक हमारी मांगे पूरी नहीं होगी ये शादी नहीं होगी।
ऐसा मत कीजिए, हमारी इज्जत आपके हाथों में है, ऐसा मत कीजिए।
Fear can have some psychological effects. It's rare, but it can happen. Especially people with a heart condition. But even people without an underlying heart problem can literally be scared to death. Just like the men of our town. Four years ago, the men of our city weren't allowed to go out at night because of the spirit of a woman who saved the boy from a prison known as an orphanage where kids weren't treated well. She was the same woman who escaped from the same place and came to our city in search of a better life. And she was the same woman who was trapped by the most liberally evil-scented man of our city. Eventually, she escaped from thereby committing an act of violence in self-defense. But the guilt of ending someone's life led her to making the biggest mistake of her life, which led to the doors of heaven and hell to close on her. And since then, her presence has been felt in our city. The history of our town, rewritten by Jen. The girl who heard nothing, but felt it all. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our Sunday late night story. It's time to say good night, and I will meet you again tomorrow afternoon on the radio with the latest news from our city. Until then, stay safe. And it's Stone signing off. Good night.
हम सभी अलग अलग तरीकों से पैसा कमाते हैं। हम सभी की अलग अलग इनकम और लाइफ कंडीशंस हैं। लेकिन कुछ ऐसा है जो हम सभी को एकजुट करता है।
अरे शुक्रिया भगवान।
जीत का मौका,
वाहिद,
जैकपॉट की संभावना।
मिल गया, पूरा मिल गया आज।
हम अलग हो सकते हैं, लेकिन हम अभी भी एक परिवार हैं।
The past 4 years have been very difficult for the people of this town, and especially for men. At first, they dealt with the witch, and when things started to get better, and people started to step out of their homes, a deadly virus came to town and pushed us all back into our living rooms and bedrooms. It had started to feel as if we would all be trapped in our homes forever. But now things are getting better. A lot has changed in the last 4 years. The world isn't what it was, but there have been a lot of positives. Crime has reduced. Families have spent time like they never had in the past few years. And most importantly, our small and center town has become the safest city on the planet Earth for women. It has gotten to the point where you only see women out at night because the spirit of the witch never harms any woman. A few men would be seen out after dark, but those were the ones who had no choice. They had to go out to earn money. There were also some that were still looking for the spirit and wanted to see if the narrative that I, or the media, told them was true. Today's story is also about a person who never believed the narrative that was sold by the media. But it did impact him psychologically. Before I start today's show, I want to thank Jen, the girl who never heard anything, but felt it all, again for sending us this story. I don't know you, and I don't know if you're hearing this, but I would definitely want to know how you came up with this story. Because I am the only one who knows about this incident. Athen, a photographer and insomniac, had moved to a new apartment at the peak of the pandemic. Most people make decisions using their brains, but Athen made decisions using his olfactory system. And that is the reason why he chose this property. There was a scent that pulled him in. He didn't care for what was going on in the city or even in the world, and he lived his life as he always had. He kept going out at night, taking pictures, and he kept returning to the house outside the city where he got addicted to the scent. His struggle was to sleep, and that was his biggest problem in life. But eventually he did sleep. But he started having nightmares. Nightmares of being captured and tortured by a witch.
Your circadian rhythms are off. It's extremely difficult for anyone in that situation to fall asleep. You do know that most of my patients that have this, similar to you, are also working all night, and then they try to sleep during the day to make up for it?
What about the nightmares?
I think it's because of your work. You mentioned earlier that there is no witch or spirit in town. Of course, the media has been telling us the exact opposite narrative, but you may have heard it just enough times that it has registered very deeply into your subconscious mind. I think you should take a break from this work. It may be the only thing that'll help you reset your sleeping patterns.
The nightmares were just the beginning of a chapter, or if I must say, a problem in Ethan's life.
क्या आप कुछ बड़ा खरीदने का सपना देख रहे हैं? वन एक्सपेट के साथ जीतकर इसे अभी पूरा करें। किसी भी खेल पर बैट लगाए, पोकर या कसिनो में जीते, साइबर स्पोर्ट पर बैट लगाए या स्लॉट खेले और आप अपनी इच्छा अनुसार कुछ भी खरीद सकते हैं। वन एक्सपेट की साइट पर जाएं और अपनी पहली जमा राशि पर 100% बोनस प्राप्त करें।
Sleep paralysis is a state of mental consciousness while your body is still asleep, your mind is awake. It sometimes lasts a few minutes, sometimes a few seconds. It's almost always a very scary experience. I would say the best way to get through it really is to just close your eyes and let it pass. But you should know that it is directly linked to all of your other sleeping related problems.
What do I do about it?
Yeah, there's not much that can be done about sleep paralysis. The most I can say is make sure you get your rest, eat properly, avoid any drugs. And that's all I can say, really.
Dreams are a mix of clear and blurry, vague and half-remembered visuals, which are partly registered in our minds. Sometimes these mixed visuals remind us of what was forgotten, just as he did. Now he wanted to sleep more than ever. But sleep didn't come so easily. We seek for logic, and when there is no logic, we choose to ignore and move on. But as we move on with our story, we need to understand that there are a lot of things in this world which may come across as being illogical, but not everything needs to be logical. A lot of people like Athen did not believe that there was a spirit in town, but there was. And I know some of you won't believe that there was a spirit in that apartment which was trying to communicate with Athen. But it did. It took over his dreams, and it was her spirit. Lily was the tenant in this apartment before Athen. After her encounter with Athen, she had fallen in love with his scent and wanted it around. She had also met Athen after a breakup, and the attention she got from him was much desired. But ever since then, she never saw him again. She was consuming alcohol and candies for short-term happiness. In short, she had become a drug addict.
देखिए बरखुरदार, इनके पास दौलत है, शोहरत है, हार्वर्ड की डिग्री है, बड़ी गाड़ी, बड़ा बंगला है। बताइए, हम अपनी बिटिया का हाथ आपके हाथ में क्यों दें?
She was aware of what she had done to herself, and she hated herself for that. Eventually, she found a way to hide from herself. Every time she faced herself, her hatred for herself only increased. The only reason for this was a lack of companionship. There was no one to care for her, be there for her. She was all alone. in a world with just some scents, wine, candies, and negative news in the media. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service announcement. There have been news of a virus spreading rapidly across the country, and last night 3 cases have been reported. We request all residents to stay at home and only go out if necessary. All shops and restaurants will be closed, but deliveries will be allowed. Ladies and gentlemen, last night a husband beheaded his wife. A race war is emerging, rising tension between 2 countries. Domestic violence is increasing. Last night a man ran into the witch and was found dead in the morning. The unusual activities are rising in town. Ladies and gentlemen, it's unfortunate to inform you that not only the number of deaths in town are increasing rapidly, it's unfortunate that a couple of years ago, men were disappearing or being found dead, and now the virus is killing. It's not just these 2 factors. Suicides are also increasing among people living alone. What is going on in this world? In the past year, we've witnessed a race war, religious war against the virus, and now a war between 2 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 cases were reported last night. The police officer beat him to death. Violence against people practicing religion. They're being sent to camp. Ladies and gentlemen, it's unfortunate to inform you that the number of deaths in town is increasing. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 cases were reported last night. Men were disappearing. It's unfortunate to inform you. Ladies and gentlemen, 90 cases were reported this morning. This is a public service announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been 90 cases virus spreading rapidly across the country. And last night, 120. Ladies and gentlemen, we request all residents stay at 300 only go out if necessary. 400. All shops and restaurants will be closed. 2 countries, but deliveries will be allowed. Domestic violence is increasing.
You weren't just attracted to her. You were attracted to her scent. Everything that she felt about you in your dream is what you really feel about her. She is in the same place in your dream as where you are in your life.
Yeah, I wanted to know who lived in this apartment before me. Yeah, I understand. You can't give that information, but I found some stuff that might belong to the lady that lived here. I get that. How about you talk to the landlord? Uh, Maybe I can meet him and pass him on the things I found. Okay. Sure, yeah. I'll be waiting for the call.
Apologies for the silence. I went back in time and had that scent running through my olfactory system. From here, I will tell you everything the way that it happened. Athen wanted to meet the landlord. So, I went to the apartment to meet with him.
Your voice sounds familiar.
Everyone says the same thing when they meet me. You don't believe me?
I believe you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a dilemma that people recognize my voice, but they don't know my face. Now, do you know who I am? By the way, your scent seems familiar. Reminds me of someone.
Who?
That's not important. Anyway, the housing agent tells me that you wanted to know who lived here last. Said you found something that might belong to that person.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a scarf.
All this trouble for a scarf. Well, you can pass it to me, and I'll pass it on.
Can you tell me who lived here before?
No, sorry. You know I can't disclose that information. By the way, where did you find it?
The back room.
Did the agent not tell you not to open that room? Did she not? Then why did you open it?
Is there something I need to know about this property? Is there something the agent is not telling me?
There are always things that the agent doesn't tell the tenant. My personal belongings are in that room, and I don't want anyone touching them. Now, can you give me the scarf?
I found nothing. But now I know there is something I need to know about this property, something you or the agent didn't tell me.
You brought me here to waste my time?
No. I've been having these nightmares. Can you tell me if she lived here?
Yes.
Is there any way, any contact information, any way to get in touch with her?
No. Now, next time, call me if there's an issue with the property. and not for your personal problems. So this is what happened. I didn't want to tell you because I thought if I told you, you'd leave. But when you told me about those nightmares, if you want to leave, I'll give you back your security deposit.
Finally, I'd suggest you move out of this place and maybe even get out of town for a while.
He knew everything he wanted to know. He knew that it wasn't sleep paralysis anymore. And that is why he decided to surrender that night. It was the night when her scent and his scent would become their scent. But it wasn't possible, because Lily had made the same mistake as the witch of the town, and the doors of heaven had closed on her. But that avenue was still open for Athens.